So I really like ARK Invest, and I wish it didn't take me this long to look into them. So this week, we're going to talk about ARK Invest and why I love them, and then at the end, we're going to go over my weekly portfolio update. So ARK Invest is a company that I've been hearing about for a year, maybe more than that. I know Jeremy from Financial Education has been talking about them a lot, but I haven't really looked into them. And it's a shame, too, because I really love them. And it was only when I saw a video by Citizen of the Year, with him talking about it, and then I looked into ARK Invest for myself, that I realized that this is exactly the kind of company I need to be investing in. ARK Invest is a global asset manager that invests solely on disruptive innovation. We're talking companies that are destined to, or they feel that are going to advance the human condition, or our way of doing things. We are talking companies on the forefront of autonomous technology and robotics. We're talking next generation internet, DNA sequencing and gene editing. We're talking financial technology. And the reason why I'm so into this company right here is kind of personal. So I believe in, well, I don't want to call it ethical investing because, well, I guess it depends on your version of ethics. So I like to call it conviction investing. I want to invest in a cause. That's why I started investing in stocks, because I want to feel like I'm participating, or I'm doing my part in advancing technology. And you'll see my portfolio later. Like, most of my companies that I'm into are tech related. I'm really into that kind of stuff. I'm a transhumanist. I'm really into innovation and, the advance of technology. And ARK Invest, they seem like my people. Like, they're into the same things that I'm into. So ARK Invest offers a variety of ETFs. Their main one is ARK Innovation ETF, which encompasses all of these. But if you really wanted to, if you're really passionate about just autonomous technology and robotics, you can invest in that. If you're really passionate about just next generation internet ETF, you can focus solely on that. But for this video, we're just going to focus on ARK Innovation ETF. So ARK Innovation is their main ETF, and like I said, they focus on things like DNA, technologies, industrial innovation, energy, next generation internet, financial services, stuff like that. It was started when the company started back in 2014, and of course it's managed by Catherine Wood. Let me show you its performance. So yeah, past performance does not guarantee future results, but past performance is evidence that we have to go on. It's all we got to go on. If you were to buy ARK Invest a year ago, you would have made an 115% return. If you would have bought ARK Invest 3 years ago, you would have had, on average, a 41% return, 41.39% return every year. And on a 5-year scale, you would have had a 39.20% every year. That's what you would have gotten in ARK Invest. That's pretty good. Now, let me show you something here. This is the Vanguard S&P 500 ETF. This tracks the Vanguard S&P 500. Right now, we are talking at a, roughly 9.6% 1-year return, 4.97% for a year for 10 years, 11.6% a year for 5 years. Now, again, these are pretty good returns. Like, I'm not saying these are bad returns at all. These are pretty good. But, they don't hold a candle compared to ARK Invest right now. Like, ARK Invest is kicking ass. So just for the performance, the potential alone, this is a good investment. Now, I do want to point out that it has an expense ratio of 0.75, which is a little high in the world of expense ratios. Like, for example, Vanguard ETF, its expense ratio is only 0.03. However, if I can get returns anywhere close to this, I don't think that matters. I'm good. I'm happy with the 0.75% expense ratio. I'm good. Let's take a look at some of his holdings, some of his top 10 holdings. Tesla, I don't have to tell you who Tesla is, so I'm going to carry on. Invitae Corp. Now, this is a gene company. Some of what Invitae, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, does is genetic testing. So you can send them your saliva, and they will tell you a bunch of stuff based on your genetic mapping. Roku is another one. It's an all-in-one streaming service that's supposed to eliminate your need for cable whatsoever. So you pretty much get the little Roku box, and then you plug it into your TV via an HDMI cable, and now you can stream all these popular things like Netflix, Disney, Amazon Prime, ESPN, Showtime, all these things from a box, and you don't need to pay for cable again. Anyways, these are just a few of them. You can go through the rest of them of yourself if you're interested. I know CRISPR does gene editing and gene medicine. Yeah, this is pretty crazy stuff, and I'm really happy, like, you know, putting my money towards this, because that means I can support, you know, all these companies and stuff. Now, because it's an ETF, we don't have any control over you know, how the ETF is distributed amongst these companies or what the companies are. That power is done through Catherine Wood, and let's talk about her for a second. Like, Catherine Wood is absolutely phenomenal. Like, I love her. Like, after you watch my video, go watch some YouTube videos, like from ARK Invest or from interviews and stuff, and just listen to her. Like she's like your hot nerdy friend, and I just love, like, listening to her geek out, because you could tell she's really into, like, you know, transhumanism, futurism, all that kind of shit. She's really into this kind of stuff. And, I mean, she's a pretty good fund manager as well. So, like, I think my investment is in pretty good hands with her, if past performance is anything to consider. I absolutely love listening to her podcast and watching her on, you know, the ARK Invest YouTube channel and stuff. Like, seriously, just look her up. Do yourself a favor. Now, one thing I did run into while looking into ARK Invest, because, you know, I have to do the full research. You know, I don't just fanboy, even though I am fanboying a little bit, but I did do my full research. I came across this, and right now, ARK is currently fighting off a takeover attempt by a company called Resolute. Now, if you read mainstream media, you think the sky is falling, and oh no, Catherine Wood might lose control of ARK. Ooh, she's getting replaced and all that stuff, and that all sounds very scary once you read the mainstream news and stuff. But I mean, after looking into it, like, there's a video by Tom Nash. This video right here. I recommend you watch this, because it sets the whole thing into perspective. And I don't want to say too much because I don't want to spoil the video, but you really should watch this video right here. The short version, I'm really skipping over a lot of stuff, is that ARK entered into an agreement with Resolute when it was just starting out, and which Resolute required a minority investment in ARK. And they had the option to purchase a controlling voting and equity interest, which is exercisable in early 2021. That was in 2016, and for this whole time, they did nothing, and everything was fine. So Resolute became the primary distributor of ARK, and distributing all of ARK's investments and funds and all that stuff. 3 years before the thing happened, ARK released a statement that it was going to explore potential replacement of Resolute, and so I think Resolute, as a reactionary move, they decided to exercise their controlling interest. It sounds very scary, and this video explains it a lot better, but I just think it's a tactic by Resolute to force ARK to not do this. I don't think anything's going to happen. My understanding of Resolute is that they work with investment firms that that manage portfolios. Resolute does not manage portfolios themselves, and nor do they have the experience or interest in doing so. So Resolute actually, like, exercising this and replacing Cathy Wood, I mean, that would eat into their gains through ARK, and that would just not be a very smart move. So I don't see any of this playing out in a negative way for ARK. I think that ARK will come to some sort of agreement with Resolute. So I'm pretty hopeful that that's going to be the case. So the last part of this before I go to my portfolio is that, you know, why ETFs? Why not just take some of these companies and invest in them actively, right? And that is a good tactic. That is a good question. Well, as you're going to see in a bit, I mean, I already have a lot of holdings, and I really don't want to add all these, or, I mean, managing all my positions is already enough work as it is. And I just don't want to add a whole bunch more positions and stuff that I have to manage and listen to earnings calls and read 10Ks and stuff. And if I get a chance to support some good companies for some good causes I believe in, with a fund manager that's very much kicking ass, then I'm going to take it. And besides, I just like ARK Invest. I really like these guys. So yeah, if you couldn't already tell, I love ARK Invest. I bought them. I'm going to keep buying them. And I'm definitely going to keep covering them on my channel as I see fit. Alright, now let's wrap things up by looking at my portfolio. And if you are a returning visitor to my channel, you know that shit is looking good right now. I've already bought ARK Investment. And let's talk about my strategy for buying ARK. So when it comes to ETFs and fair values and stuff, I don't really look at fair value when it comes to ETFs. I don't really look into that because it's difficult to look at all the different companies and find the fair value and stuff. I usually go with DCA, which means I'm going to deposit periodically. For example, every half a month. So twice a month, I will deposit $400 exactly in the ARK. And depending on the price, that $400 is going to buy more shares or less shares. But I think that's the way I'm going to do it with ARK. And I think I'm going to build this in one of my biggest positions. But anyways, yeah, my portfolio is looking fucking great right now. I finally passed the 30,000 mark on my portfolio challenge for the year. My goal was to get 25,000, which I got. And then my stretch goal was maybe to get 30,000 by the end of the year. And I didn't think that was going to happen. And it's only at the end of November. And I've already reached my stretch goal. Like, I'm already kicking ass. And I mean, that just goes to show that time in the market beats time in the market every time. But anyways, what do you guys think about ARK Invest? Does it sound like the company for you? Are you interested in learning more? Are you going to buy? You're gonna hold? Are you going to wait for more information? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. But anyways, take care. Have a great day. And eat your vegetables.